So as we enter the moments of stillness, I invite you to hear these words just as a mantra. We're adjusting the sound in the room. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. And I rest, and I trust, and I know. Oh. We're going to pause in the quiet in here for just a moment. In the stillness, there is peace. In the mundane miracle of technology that works and does not work, there is peace. There is peace available in every moment. There is peace. Centered into the stillness of this moment, just as it is. There is trust. There is peace. There is no separation. In the stillness of this moment, there is God. Be still and know that there is peace. Be still and know that God is within and without. Be still and know. And so now a little more centered and still. I'm going to share a few thoughts with you and then bring us again at the end of my talk into some meditation. In the second chapter of Spiritual Practices for Crazy Times, the chapter heading is The Power of Deep Meditation, and Philip Goldberg talks about, in this chapter, a couple of ways to think about meditation. One possibility is using a mantra, a repetitive thought or phrase that helps bring you back into the moment just as it is, even if that moment is a moment with sound issues at church. It is a perfect moment just as it is. The other way that he leads us into thinking about meditation is in the quiet. And I know that that can be really challenging. I find it challenging because sometimes when I'm quiet, the only thing I can become aware of is how chatty my monkey mind is. So I'm going to share a few of my own reflections on this chapter. So whether you've read this book or not, it doesn't matter. The gift of our coming together as we practice and as we think about what it means to us to be still and centered is where we're going to go on a little journey today. At the beginning of the chapter, Phil starts with these words from Thomas Merton. At the center of our being is a point of nothingness which is untouched, a point of pure truth, a point or spark which belongs entirely to God. When Phil was here this fall, he told a funny story that he also talks about in the book. He tells the story in the book about the act of grace, karma, or chance of grabbing a random shirt to wear on the morning he began writing the second chapter of the book on the power of deep meditation. His t-shirt read, "Meditation is not what you think." He grabbed it randomly, that act of grace or karma, and saw himself reflected in the glass on his office door as he went in to start writing his chapter. Nothing's random. So he offers us these 3 profound messages that are contained in a t-shirt slogan. Meditation may not be what you think it is. The effectiveness of meditation has nothing to do with the content of thoughts that arise in the mind. To which I said, phew. Because it's not a lot of great content most moments. At its deepest, meditation transcends thinking entirely, opening the curtain to the infinite oneness beyond the mind. It is a direct route to the core of being. So I was in kindergarten when Timothy Leary was popularizing the phrase, turn off, tune out, and drop in, that is the chapter title. So I can't speak to his version, but I do truly appreciate Phil's use of that phrase as a chapter title and his description of the upgrade to that phrase available to us through the power of meditation. Turn off. Turn off your devices and media hookups, but not today while you're watching on YouTube. Tune out the incessant barrage of news and sensory stimulation, and drop in to the sanctuary or kingdom within you. We could also add, come back, as in come back to the domain of action, rejuvenated and spiritually energized. And yes, I did finally read this chapter after doom scrolling on Instagram and news headlines for way longer. That voice in my head was saying, turn it off, put it down. But I got looped in. So finally picking up the book and reading that was like, oh, right. How am I feeding the soul that cries out for finding peace? Be still and know that I am. At the center of our being is a point of nothingness which is untouched, a point of pure truth, a point or spark which belongs entirely to God. there is no separation. In every one of the world's wisdom traditions, we can find pathways to the center of our being. Sufi mystical dancing of Islam, the mystical branch of Judaism, the Kabbalah, contemplative prayer, and there is such a resurgence of modern day mystics, modern day recognition of our need for contemplation that is not just deep thinking about all that is, but it is inviting us to be present to. It is presencing that ultimately is the gift of those spirit groups. It's a chance to experience in whatever circles we're in, those groups, with our family, with our friends, at our workplaces. Not everybody gets to work someplace awesome like me at Unity, but in our workplaces, how are we present and aware of that center of our being? Goldberg reminds us that beyond our usual three states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, and sleeping, is that state of being, of I-ness, in which we are in deep repose, but neither asleep nor dreaming. It is a state of deep contentment, and even when the experience is momentary, it has profound practical implications. Each time we tap into that limitless resource, some of those desirable qualities cling, and over time they manifest more and more in our active lives. They cling. I love that image. Those momentary bits of recognizing, I think I was just silent inside for a nanosecond before another thought floats in. They accumulate over time. That is the gift of practice. Here in the sanctuary we create together, one implication is that our shared yet individual awareness of our source feeds our ability to step fully into living our mission, of making a reality out of our vision. It feeds our compassionate action. We practice and practice and practice, and we come together and we practice some more. That's it. It's very simple. It's just not always easy. And so the invitation as we practice together is to release our need for it to be a struggle. To notice whatever your experience is, whether you hear my voice well or you don't hear my voice well, whether you have noise at home distracting you, if there are noises outside in the city neighborhood in which we find ourselves, all of that is just part of the vibration of this moment. We practice. We come together and we practice some more. So we're going to get quiet together. I cannot guarantee that you're going to spend 5 minutes in the silence, but the invitation is there to notice the experience, even if it is momentary, of when the active mind just slows down a little bit and that center of your being floats up. It is always there, but it floats up to your consciousness. So you may want to, I sometimes find before I sit, I need to scooch. Move your body, stretch gently if that is comfortable for you, or just settle in. Wherever you are, just begin by getting comfortable. If you're sitting here in this room or sitting at home on a chair, let your feet rest on the floor. Let your spine and your neck be as upright as they're comfortable, but ideally without any tension or strain. Rest your hands comfortably on your lap or at your side. The invitation is to hold your palms up to receive. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you may do so. Or you can simply let your gaze soften. Let your focus be gentle and soft, maybe lowering your chin and just looking down in front of you. You could use the candle as a gentle focus point. And now bring your attention to your own breath. Notice the sensation of your breath as you breathe in and out your nostrils, or wherever your breath in and out is most comfortable, nose or mouth. Feel your belly and your chest moving with the breath in and out, with no strain, just noticing the physical sensations, your own rhythm, the ebb and flow. If your mind wanders, and it likely will, as much as you can, just notice it. Try not to judge your little monkey mind, and see that too with compassion. And when you become aware of your mind wandering from your breath, just gently come back to noticing your breath. in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. Begin to deepen your breath. You may want to wiggle your fingers. Shrug your shoulders or roll your head gently, bringing movement back into the stillness, yet holding the gift of that peace that is the core of our being. Thank you. Thank you for your presence, for accompanying each other on that journey for 5 minutes, a little less than 5 minutes, holding each other, center of being to center of being. There is only love at the center of our being. But until we still ourselves enough, we cannot face the noise of the world from that stillness. So I thank you for the gift of your presence, for holding me and holding each other. May our divine prayer energy rise up, go forth, spread across all the places of this world that are broken, so that the reality of our love blankets all beings and our precious Mother Earth herself. And so it is. Amen.